I am Kinta Kim. There is something a woman will never reveal to a man unless she has fallen for him completely, irrevocably, and without reservation. It is not something trivial like a password or a PIN code. It is something far more intimate, far more raw, and most men do not even notice it when it is happening right in front of them. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships discovered that 78% of men completely failed to recognize the moment a woman emotionally committed to them. 78%, which means there may be a woman in your life right now who has already decided you are the one and you are walking around completely unaware of it. Stay with this, because what comes next could genuinely shift the way you see everything. And the final sign, the one saved for the very end, is what separates a woman who enjoys your company from a woman who would stand in fire for you. Here is the truth that almost nobody talks about. Women do not fall in love the way most men imagine. There is this popular idea that love announces itself with a grand gesture, some cinematic confession in the middle of a storm. That idea is romantic and almost entirely wrong. When a woman falls in love, she does not make a declaration. She makes 1,000 tiny ones. She lets it slip through small, almost imperceptible moments that most men pass right over without a second glance. And this matters more than you realize, because if those moments go unnoticed, if she senses that what she is offering is not being received, she will stop offering it. Not out of cruelty, but out of self-preservation. A woman who feels invisible will quietly withdraw so softly and gradually that by the time you notice the door is already closed, you will not hear it shut. You will simply wake up one day and find that something has gone. What follows are the exact things a woman only shares when she is genuinely, deeply, completely in love. Some of these will catch you off guard. Some will make you look back at past relationships with entirely new eyes, and one of them, the last one, will land hard enough that you may need a moment to sit with it. The first is her childhood wounds, and not the light, easy memories, not the story of her first pet or a funny thing that happened at school. The real ones. The nights her parents argued behind closed doors. The moment she felt abandoned by someone who was supposed to protect her. The reason a raised voice still makes her shoulders tense. When she starts sharing those things with you, understand what is actually happening. She is not making conversation. She's handing you a fragment of her interior world. Something she has likely turned over in her mind 100 times before finding the courage to say it out loud. Dr. Sue Johnson, a clinical psychologist and the founder of emotionally focused therapy, identified emotional vulnerability as the single most powerful indicator of deep attachment between two people. A woman does not show you her wounds unless she trusts that you will not use them against her. She has almost certainly been in a situation where she opened up to the wrong person and paid for it. So if she is bringing you into the parts of her story she normally keeps hidden, she is not being dramatic. She's being extraordinarily brave. And she's being brave because she loves you enough to take that risk. The mistake most men make in this moment is trying to solve it. They hear her pain and immediately reach for a solution. But she is not looking for a solution. She is looking for someone who will simply be present with her in it. Someone who will sit beside her in the difficult place instead of rushing her out of it. The second thing she shares is her insecurities about her body. This one carries more weight than most men understand. Women exist in a world that demands a constant performance of confidence, filters, angles, carefully constructed presentations for every audience. So when a woman stands in front of you without any of that armor in ordinary clothes under ordinary light, and says something like she hates how she looks right now, or that she does not feel attractive today, she's not searching for a compliment. She is extending a level of trust that took real courage to reach. Research from the International Journal of Eating Disorders found that over 91% of women carry some form of dissatisfaction about their bodies. That is nearly every woman you have ever known moving through the world with a private, painful inner dialogue about her appearance, and she is choosing to let you see behind that. She is showing you the version of herself that she keeps hidden from everyone else. When a woman reveals her physical insecurities to you, she is essentially saying she trusts you to keep seeing her the same way after she has shown you the thing she fears most. That is not a small act. That is an enormous one. And however you respond in that moment, she will carry it with her, not briefly, but permanently. Women remember with remarkable clarity the first time they showed a man their vulnerability and how he handled it. Make sure you handle it with care. The third thing, and this one surprises most people, is her silence. Not the uncomfortable kind, but the kind that feels like settling into something warm and familiar. There is a concept in psychology called comfortable silence. And researchers at the University of Groningen in the Netherlands found that it only takes about 4 seconds of quiet in a conversation before most people start to feel anxious and unwanted. 4 seconds, that is barely a breath. So when a woman can sit beside you without speaking, without reaching for her phone, without manufacturing conversation to fill the space and feel completely at ease, that is one of the most genuine expressions of emotional intimacy that exists. From a young age, women are conditioned to keep things moving, to tend to the comfort of those around them, to make sure no one feels neglected. When she stops performing that role around you and simply exists in your presence without needing to manage anything, she is telling you something profound without using a single word. She feels safe. She feels at home. Most men misread that quiet as boredom or distance. In reality, it is the opposite. It is peace. And that kind of peace only comes with someone she loves. The fourth is when she begins placing you inside her future. It may sound casual when it happens. A mention that you two should visit a certain place next summer. A comment about a wedding she already pictures you attending. A passing remark that begins with "when we have." But none of it is accidental. The Gutman Institute, which has devoted over 4 decades to studying what makes relationships succeed or fail, identifies something called building love maps as one of the strongest predictors of lasting partnership. When a person actively weaves you into their mental image of the future, they are already deeply emotionally invested. And the contrast makes this even more telling. When a woman is uncertain about someone, her language stays guarded, non-committal, full of may and we will see. But when she loves you, that language transforms. Suddenly, the future is populated with we and us and ours. She has stopped moving through life as a solo traveler and has quietly reserved a place for you beside her. The fifth thing, and the one most men handle the worst, is her past relationship pain. When she tells you about the betrayal she survived, about the nights she cried without understanding why, about the manipulation she only recognized after it had already done its damage, she is not venting. She is not trying to make you jealous or stir up old emotions. She is terrified that history will repeat itself, and she loves you enough to draw you a map of exactly where it hurt so you can choose a different path. Dr. Beanie Brown, who has spent more than 2 decades researching vulnerability and trust, describes what she calls the anatomy of trust as a sequence of small moments where one person chooses to be open and the other responds with genuine care. When a woman shares her past heartbreak, she is offering you one of those moments. Your response will determine whether she continues to open or begins quietly and invisibly to close. The worst thing you can do is minimize it. Telling her you are nothing like the person who hurt her may be true, but it does not give her what she actually needs. What she needs is for you to recognize the weight of what she just placed in your hands and to show her through what you do, rather than what you say that you understand why it matters. The sixth is her embarrassing habits and guilty pleasures. This one might make you smile, but do not underestimate it. When she tells you she has watched the same mediocre reality show 4 times through, or that she narrates life to her pet in a made-up voice, or that she sometimes eats cereal standing over the sink at midnight, she's not being random. She's handing you the unedited, unpolished, completely unguarded version of herself. Women manage their presentation constantly. For colleagues, for family, for the world at large, there is always a version of her being curated and adjusted. So when she lets you see the one who sings off-key without caring, who has deeply committed opinions about snack foods, and who still finds comfort in things she would never post publicly, that is love. That is her saying the performance is over, and this is who she actually is, and she is trusting you not to make her feel foolish for it. Dr. Arthur Aaron, a psychologist at Stony Brook University, demonstrated through his research that sharing personal and even seemingly trivial details creates a measurable increase in feelings of closeness and love between people. His famous 36-question study designed to cultivate intimacy between strangers was built almost entirely on the idea of escalating vulnerability, and the small, silly, harmless confessions count just as much as the serious ones. They say the same thing: I am no longer performing for you. The next time she shares something like that with you, do not laugh at her. Laugh with her because what she just gave you is more honest than most people manage to offer in an entire lifetime. The seventh is her financial reality. Money is one of the final true tabos. People will talk about trauma, about therapy, about things most considered deeply private long before they will tell someone the actual number in their bank account or admit how much debt they are carrying. A 2022 survey by Bankrate found that 42% of people in relationships have hidden a financial secret from their partner, nearly half. So, when a woman tells you the truth about her finances, the student loans, the credit card balance, the paycheck-to-paycheck reality, or even the fact that she is doing well and worries about how that changes the way men see her, she is offering you a kind of honesty that goes beyond emotion. She is showing you the unglamorous, practical, behind-closed-doors reality of her life. And she would not do that unless she saw you as someone she intends to build something lasting with. This is her way of saying she wants you to know where she actually stands because she is planning for the two of you to stand somewhere together. And now the final one, the one that matters most, her fear of losing you. When she looks at you and says something feels almost too good to be true, or admits quietly that she is afraid you might leave or holds on a little tighter after a disagreement. That is it. That is the clearest signal of all. That is a woman who is completely in love. Here is why it carries so much weight. Women are taught from the time they are young to project independence, to never appear too invested, to always seem as though they could walk away without flinching. Society conditions women to wear emotional self-sufficiency like armor, even when everything inside them is pulling in the opposite direction. So when a woman breaks through all of that conditioning, all of that carefully maintained protection, and admits that the thought of losing you genuinely frightens her, she has done something extraordinary. She has leaped without knowing whether she will be caught. Attachment theory, originally developed by psychologist John Bowlby, actually frames the fear of losing someone we love, not as weakness or dependency, but as evidence of genuine, secure bonding. When someone is deeply attached, the possibility of separation produces real distress. So when she says she is scared of losing you, she is not being clingy or fragile. She is being profoundly honest about the depth of what she feels. And what you do with that honesty will define the relationship. If you dismiss it, she will quietly begin protecting herself. If you meet it with real reassurance and consistent action, she will love you in ways you have not yet imagined. Bring it all together and the picture becomes clear. A woman who shares her childhood wounds, her body insecurities, her settled and comfortable silence, her future plans built around you, her past heartbreak, her unfiltered quirks and guilty pleasures, her financial truth, and her fear of losing you. That is not a woman who is casually curious about you. That is a woman who has made a deliberate and complete choice in spite of every reason the world has given her to keep her walls up. The fact that you have stayed with this all the way through says something real. It says you are not the kind of person who moves through a relationship on autopilot. You actually want to understand her, and that alone already sets you apart. But before you go, here is the thing worth carrying with you. Every single sign discussed here is a form of communication. She's always telling you how she feels, not always through words, but through trust, through what she chooses to share, through the moments she lets you in. The question is never whether she is communicating. The question is whether you are paying close enough attention to receive it. If something here shifted the way you see things, pass it on to someone who needs to hear it. A friend, a brother, someone who may be standing right in front of a woman who is already all in and has no idea that one conversation could matter more than you.